The Olight Osight S. Let's check it out. Last year, Olight offered their Osight, a very innovative sight. It actually has a charging station that fits right over the battery, and it charges on its own. And then you can hook up a charger to this and charge the base. But the sight itself has just really been excellent. In fact, it has a large window in it that makes it really fast and easy to see, and yet the price is right. But today we're going to take a look at the S model, which is the compact. This is a micro red dot. This fits the RMSC and the Holosun K footprint, and it fit really well on this Ruger RXM. So we're going to do a full review on the sight itself, but we're also going to incorporate a torture test. And we're going to check not only the capability of the charging system, but also that it retains its zero. Now, Olight offers a 10% discount with Sootch00 with the link down below in the description. And we really appreciate Olight for sending the Osight S for this review and torture test. Guys, when I first heard that Olight was making a weapon sight, I had some concerns and maybe even some doubts. It's a hard market to get into. Now, Olight has been a major player in the flashlight world. Again, I've been carrying Olights for over actually 13 years. As my regular EDC, I carry them every day. Also, they have great weapons lights, and that's great, but that's all light. And this is optics, and so I was really dubious, honestly, if they could pull it off, and told them so. But when I first got the Osight, and this is actually the original, it was really a prototype, but it's the same exact sight that's production now. One of the big things that struck me first off is just the size of the window. And at first I was like, that's kind of big, but man, it shows up extremely well. And when you're learning to use red dots, it's important to find the dot. And so this made it really easy. And then a lot of the other features, of course, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the charging base. And this just gives you the capacity to be able to charge your light. You can leave it this way at night. You can take it off. And it's charging your light, and you know where the charge is. That is huge. A lot of times when I have weapons lights, I don't know. You know, even though the battery life lasts for a long time, I have taken guns to the range and the light was just dead. The battery was out. So that's a big plus and something completely different than anyone else is doing. But they needed that smaller size optic. And so now they've introduced the Olight S. And not only that, they have multiple reticle functions in these lights. Same kind of base that goes over the top, and yet it fits that RMSC footprint, which that's what is the big player really with the micro red dots. And there's a lot of cool features about the light. One thing that I really like up front is that it has sights built into the back of the sight itself. And so it gives you not only co-witness here, of course, you know, it's according to the handgun that you're using, but you do have those wings that allow you to line up that front sight. Here is the charging port area, and again, it fits right here with the base. You can see the contacts inside, and so it just goes over the light. Some of the first Olight, especially with the original, was that the back was a little bit too low and it would interfere at times with certain sights. And they fixed that with the new versions. As I mentioned, we have done a complete torture test, and it was a little bit over the top. And we're going to be showing that in a few minutes. But we're going to go through a lot of the details of the Osight S. Now we're going to start out with the packaging because it's very well done. And one thing you'll notice here is that it has a dot, and it's a 2 MOA dot with a 32 MOA circle. Then you can go with just the dot, which honestly is my preferred, and then it has just the 32 MOA circle without the dot. This one's in red, and I'm sure they're going to be producing this in green as well if they haven't already. And so we're going to open this up. Very well done packaging. So first off, just have a cover. Everything is very well protected. It also talks about zeroing the sight, and it gives you a lot of information. And then you get the base, charging cover, and of course you get the light. And then here on the other side, everything is organized and you can see what you have. And so you get your charging cable, which is USB-C. We have our tool to be able to adjust the sight, and we have a lanyard. I think that goes on your charging cover. Of course, a small little towel and a little cover, but obviously you're going to have this on your firearm. And then we have a set of screws, which I thought was a really nice touch. And so we have different type screws that are typical for mounting your sight, and they have different lengths according to the handgun. I thought this was really something that you are not seeing anywhere else. Now we start out with a 32 MOA circle around a 2 MOA dot. Press the minus button for 3 seconds, and then we go just to a 2 MOA dot. Now it's really crisp. The camera is very difficult to get this into focus, but here we go, 2 MOA dot for 3 seconds, and then we just get a 32 MOA circle. And so we have the 3 options, and then just press the minus again for 3 seconds, and we come back to the dot with the 32 MOA circle. Now the Osight is enclosed, so you have a rear lens with your front lens, and this keeps a lot of debris out. Here with this Trijicon RMR, you can see it's just open in the back, and that emitter is putting that on the screen, and so if you get debris or something in there, even water, it can cause you to be able to not see the red dot sight. And of course, you know, Holosun has one of the enclosed here, but then they have the open as well. But this has really become a very popular option, especially for those that are in rough conditions. But the one thing I love about the micro red dots is it fits on the pistol really well. You don't have to worry about them hanging over. And so like with this Trijicon, if I put it on the Ruger RXM, it would definitely hang over on either side. And so this just gives you a more smaller option. And honestly, for concealed carry, you want something very small because you want that to be a smaller footprint, smaller handgun, easier to conceal. Here you see the rear sight built in to the optic itself, and that will just allow you to be able to get that co-witness if you don't have a rear sight, or even if you do, it's just going to help you line it up. And for a micro red dot, this is a really nice sight picture. And here at the front we have a multi-coated lens as well, elevation and windage. Of course those are easy, and again you have the tool to take care of it. Very nice hard anodized finish over the O aluminum. Now these are made from the super aluminum is what Olight calls it, and it's actually 1.77 times harder, or really 75% harder than 6065 T6 aluminum. And it's about 1.5 times stronger than titanium. Now here were your power mode buttons. If you press it, there is a green that comes through, and you can see it a little better than with the naked eye. And then that gives you from 100 down to 50%. If it turns yellow, you have 50 to 20%. When it turns to red, 20 to 10%. And then it'll blink at under 10%. Of course, if it gets to that point, drop on your charger and you're charging. One thing about the charger, with a battery flashing means that this is charging your optic. And it'll shut off after 5 seconds. But there is a button here on the side. We can test that anytime we want to. When you put the cover on, it shuts the red dot off, and that way it preserves your battery life. And here we have USB-C, just plug that in, and then you can charge your base. You can charge it on the firearm, or you can charge it separately. Here we have the supplied tool, which works with, of course, your windage and your elevation. It's that really small screw, so having this available is going to be good. Has the wings on the side so you can get some leverage, and that really comes in handy with the Torx end, which goes with the screws, and it mates perfectly. And of course, it gives you all the instructions right here in this little card. Now, there is a motion sensor built in to the sight, and so kind of like Shake Awake. If this sits still for about 10 minutes, it'll shut off. And then as soon as you pick it up, it comes on. To deactivate or to activate it, just double click the minus button and hold it for 3 seconds. It'll flash once, and that means it's on. If it flashes twice, that means your motion sensor is off. The screws to me are big. When I have optics and they come with just 2 screws, they may have an extra one. It's very difficult if I'm switching the gun to another one or I'm setting it aside for a little while. It seems like the screws just get gone, and then finding the right screws is a nightmare. So this is big. And again, it gives you all your different options and extra screws with different sizes. Now these are IPX8, which means they're waterproof up to 1 meter. We actually tested this, and you're going to see it during the torture test for 30 minutes. Also, they're impact resistant up to 1.5 meters. And again, we've tested that as well. And it only weighs 0.97 ounces. It is a very light option. But one beautiful thing about Olight is they have a lifetime limited warranty, not only on their sights, but also their flashlights and their weapons lights. And guys, we have just revamped our website at Sootchgear.com. There's a lot of different suit swag over there, patches, t-shirts, but there's also a lot of my favorite products are there. We also have the Sooch deals where we find all kind of deals and offer those to you guys at some of the best prices. Another thing that we do is a lot of the videos that were taken down by YouTube, which we call our contraband or banned videos, and all that's over on Sootchgear.com, so check it out. Big thank you to Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammo, all made in the USA, one of the biggest suppliers of ammunition in the country. Also, big thanks to Lula Loaders for saving our thumbs. Makes loading easy. Well guys, we're back with Osight, and this is their S model. This is a smaller, more like a RMSC or the Holosun K type sight. It's going really well on this RXM from Ruger. We just did a review on this. I wanted to get some more shots with it, so we attached the sight and it goes directly to the slide. Now, this is a really unique system. Of course, we've talked all about it. We've been shooting this thing quite a bit. I love that large donut around that dot. It really helps you to focus in on the sight. The window for this micro sight is nice and large. It's easy to pick the dot up. Like the original Osight, it's a large sight, but man, you pick it up and it's right there. We've done a lot of testing with this already. We're just getting a lot of range shooting, but we are going to be, in just a few minutes, doing a bunch of different tests on these sights. We're going to show you the results. But the sight's really durable and it holds zero really well, and of course we're going to get to see that more when we do after the testing, and we're going to see how it performs. Here we're co-witnessing with the sights, and it just sits right on that front dot, and of course I adjusted it. It's fully adjustable, but really nice brightness settings. Overall, been very impressed with the original, and this one I'm actually a little more impressed. Osight S. Olight just always comes out with some really cool stuff, and it's really great to see that they're bringing out these sights.
The first thing we did was sight in the pistol with the sight at 7 yards. We just wanted to get a 5-shot group and just to test to make sure, and then after all the testing we're going to shoot it again just to see where we are, if there's been any shift. Now we're going to put it in the water. We dropped it in the pool and we left it in there for 30 minutes. So here we're bringing it back out, and it's been 30 minutes. And so it is IPX7, so it should hold up. But then we went ahead and checked the dot, and it was still working. Dried it off just to make sure we could get a good connection, and then put the charger back on it and wanted to see if it would charge, and it did charge. Then we put it in the freezer, and we wanted to get a deep freeze. Placed it into the freezer and of course 114, and we left it in there for 4 hours. We got back at 5:16, and then pulled the sight out, and it was really cold. And then we checked, and there was the dot. And so then we took and dried it off, let it warm up for about an hour, and here you can see the dot again. And then we put the charger back on it, and it charged very nicely. Then we took and drove over it on concrete. And so we wanted to see if the winds would hold up. And then we went ahead and put the charger on because we wanted to make sure that it was charging. And then we wanted to make sure that the dot was there. So we had to look for the dot. And because the camera angle, it makes it a little difficult to set up. But here you can see the dot's still there. It's not focused, but it is there. Then we just beat it on a drum right after that, and down at my range. And we just hit it multiple times, just banging it back and forth. Some of this has to attest to the Ruger RX-7 with a good mounting system. Then went to the range and just started dropping it. Now I didn't want to tear up my pistol, so I put a block down, but we hit the block with the sight, and so we were trying to aim for it. So while we didn't lift the gun up super high, we just wanted to make sure we didn't damage the handgun, but we were still getting good solid hits on the sight. And as you can see, we have the red dot still working, and we wanted to make sure that we had that dot. And I'd changed the reticle at this point. Then we took accuracy again at 7 yards and just really stayed into the same position. That first shot was just a pull, but overall, I mean, the sight is lined up. And that's pretty impressive after everything that it went through. So the testing has been done, and guys, this sight is really just good to go.
When it comes to price, $249.99, which is extremely reasonable for an enclosed optic and all the features you're getting. Lifetime warranty, which gives you just that much more confidence. With the charging cover, that is a big plus. That's something you're not seeing anywhere else. We just cover it. We can find out where our light is at any given time. And then also here with your buttons, your power buttons, you can check and see what the battery is on the sight itself. And you can charge this on your firearm very simply. And so that is a huge plus just in itself and something different. Also, it's made from the OAL, or the Olight Super Aluminum that Olight has been using. And again, it's harder than regular aluminum, plus it's even more stronger than titanium. It weighs less than an ounce. That is a big plus. And you get 3 different reticle choices, and we have seen a massive torture test with this light, not only going through the test, but also retaining the accuracy. And another big plus is just having these extra screws. And of course, the tool that you have, that also just is nice. And this does come with a number of different sights, but this is a big plus. I really think the only thing that I would give this a negative for is that it just hasn't been fully tested over a long period of time. But as far as the original Osight, that's been great, and they are upgrading that as well. So we're seeing Olight come in, and honestly, very surprising. Again, they make great flashlights. They make great weapons lights. But with the sights, I was a little bit dubious, but it ended up just being an excellent sight. And guys, while there are a lot of different sight choices out there, this just gives us more options. Guys, if you're looking for a red dot, whether it's the Olight or the Olight S, they are excellent. The price is right, and with the charging cover that just fits right over the sight, this allows you to keep this fully charged, and then you can actually charge the base and just have even more capacity. And again, a big thank you to Olight for sending the Osight S for this review and torture test. And also, again, you get 10% discount using Sootch00 with the link down below in the description. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. And that when, and that, okay. Okay. To deactivate, I'm gonna say, dear Lord, thank you for this.
At least you're thankful to the Lord.
I am fine.
Automatically.
Light so far, I mean, okay, light. I keep saying freaking light. There's a lot of lights out there. Okay, it's not lights. They're not lights. They're optics, you doof. Last year, Olight introduced their Osight. Oh, did I say Osight? I was a little bit. What am I a little bit? Now, one of the things about the new Olight, okay, I don't like any of that. And a front lens. Okay, let me get another one. Let me get something else here to show you something. 32 millimeter, I mean, okay, I'm just blah.